revolution that is happening in India. But what we are proud of is your nations, because it means that national pride means pride for your nation's values. See, an example of this is when you're trying to qualify for a Japanese citizenship, they ask you if you're proud of what Japan is today. They don't ask you whether you're proud of what Japan did in World War II. They're simply asking about whether you're proud of Japan's values today, and that therefore is why the values is the important part and not past actions. So what does being proud of values even mean? An important value of Japan, for example, is dignity. And though dignity has led to Japan doing many bad things in the past, dignity is also what led to modern changes today. It led to Japan apologizing for their past because they realized that dignity is better upheld if they accept what they did in World War II. And furthermore, Japan also raised other values like democracy and liberty, and what this simply means is that values can change. Japan's recurring value was dignity, and their definition and its interpretation of what dignity is changes throughout. Instead, opposition believes that you are allowed to change your interpretation of a value, and a country can also be adding new values. For example, Japan added the values of democracy and liberty to the importance of their own nation, and this is what came later. So today, Japan still upholds this. Japan still upholds dignity. Japan still upholds
information.
Yes, yes, I'll take it now.
Why is it likely that history will be taught in an inclusive way in school curriculums?
Can you please repeat that?
Why is it likely that history will be taught in an inclusive way in school curriculums?
Well, actually, we believe that because when you're proud of your own country, when you know who you are in this global society, you're better able to understand other countries as well. And this is what makes it so inclusive, is that by teaching history that instills national pride, you can better understand other countries as well. And that is where inclusivity comes in, and I will be talking about that later in my speech. Now, I'd like to move on to how a country's current values are what's important today. With the United States and Black Lives Matter, these Black Lives Matter protests are proud of their country. They're proud of equality. They're proud of that the United States stands for equality. Even if there are some institutional wrongdoings in the United States institutions today, these protesters stand for the values of their own nation, and what creates that is that they are proud of their country. National pride is what creates that, and that is what side opposition is pushing for today. Moving on, as I was saying in the answer to POI, national pride helps you appreciate other countries, because once you know who you are in the global context, you can better appreciate others. You see, I love Harry Potter, but that doesn't mean that I put down other books. It simply means that by loving Harry Potter, I can better see the values in other books as well. It helps me appreciate other things. So no, loving your country does not mean hating on others. It means that we can still instill this appreciation of culture in other nations better in school, which leads me to my second substantive, why history. History is a story of the past. What it accomplishes is it teaches us how our past created our present, what our present is, and what we can learn from the past for the future. It is a reflection of what the nation stands for today and why we stand for what we stand for today by looking at the past. It's simply a woven story. So why are we specifying that we want to teach a nation's history specifically? It's because high school is only 4 years, and you have a limited amount of time, and you cannot teach in any possible way the entire world's history. There's no way that you can be completely inclusive. So how we do this is that for our side, to be more inclusive than side proposition, we do that by instilling national pride, because we believe national pride is the easiest way in order to truly be inclusive, because national pride instills values that helps you live in this globalized society. And as stated earlier, national pride is not about hating other countries. We want national pride in schools because we can control it. Because in fact, these radical and extreme ideas that come with, oh, our country is the best and your country is worse, these ideas come from these radical views. And where do radical views come from? They can come from things like the internet. And when we teach this in school, we have so much more control over what we want our students to understand. We are able to teach these students that, yes, this is what you should be proud of about your country, but it does not mean in any other way that if another country is different, that is bad. Because side opposition does not believe that just because we're different, that doesn't mean it's bad. This is what we believe, and we believe that our differences is what makes us a global society and what's helped create this delicate fabric of a globalized world. Furthermore, this helps decrease chances of misinformation, because believe it or not, there's a lot of misinformation and extreme beliefs on the internet. And as I was saying, that is exactly where these radical beliefs come from. On our side, by teaching it in schools specifically, we have a teacher who has gone through educational training and is following the educational curriculum in order to teach national history from a non-distorted version. And through that, as I was saying, we instill national pride. So let me summarize today's debate, or today's first speaker's speech, and what I've said earlier. National pride means accepting the past, but it also means being proud of values and change. This helps you appreciate other nations, because once you learn to appreciate your own, you can learn to appreciate others as well. And by doing so, we create a more inclusive history, and we create a better citizen in the global community in the future, because as I said, it is not possible to teach the history of every single country in the world. So the easiest way to do that is to teach you how to appreciate other countries, not to appreciate appreciate other countries, but teach you the mechanism of how you can appreciate others. And we do this in school with history, because history is what takes into account the past. It's what takes into account the mistakes. And we believe that you can still be proud of your mistakes and still be proud of your own country as well. And we choose to teach in schools because it's controlled an education institution. And so because our side better stands for inclusive community, that is why I'm so proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thanks for that speech. We call on the second half to continue the round. Here.